Hello, good afternoon, and welcome back to Mosquito Bites Live. This is, again, I'm Pablo Cabrera coming to you from the San Gabriel Valley Mosquito and Vector Control District, and we're celebrating California Mosquito Awareness Week all week long. It all started yesterday, and we're going all the way till Saturday celebrating Mosquito Awareness Week. What does California Mosquito Awareness Week mean? We're bringing you attention and all the information you want to know about mosquitoes, especially here in California. California, we have great weather, but it comes with a bite. We have to deal with mosquitoes all year long, so here as Vector Control District, we're providing you all the information that you need. I'm very excited to bring on our guest here today, but before I do, I want to acknowledge a few things. I'm wearing my pin of Ask Me About Mosquitoes from our friends at West Valley here in Southern California, bringing more awareness to mosquito control. And then a big thank you to our cities here in San Gabriel, the city of Alhambra, see if I'll show it there, and the city of Monrovia have already declared California Mosquito Awareness Week in their cities, and tonight the city of Azusa, and then the next day, the city of San Gabriel will also be doing the same. So thank you so much to our cities that we've partnered with for bringing more awareness to California Mosquito Awareness Week, but at the end of the day, bringing awareness to mosquito control as a whole and making sure that we get our messaging out there. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my guest here. Get you on board. I see you're already watching. To have a great conversation about mosquitoes in both English and Spanish. Hi, Luz.
Hey,
How are you?
good yourself?
I'm doing well. Happy California Mosquito Awareness Week.
Happy Mosquito Awareness Week. It's an exciting week for all of us, right? Can you see my giant mosquito here? Look at this.
Yeah, there you go. Hopefully
really
they're not that big.
Maybe in the dinosaur era.
Maybe. Well, Luz, really quick, thank you so much for joining us. I'm coming to you from sunny Southern California. You're joining us from Northern California, so bringing the state together here. Do you want to introduce yourself and where you're coming from?
Yeah, so my name is Luz Maria Robles. I'm the information officer for the Sacramento-Yolo Mosquito Vector Control District, Northern California. It's sunny here today. It was rainy last week, but sunny today. But I'm so happy to be here promoting our Mosquito Awareness Week and what people can do to stay safe from mosquitoes.
Perfect. And Luz, again, this conversation, we're going to be answering and giving our questions in English and in Spanish as well. So en inglés y español vamos a hacer las preguntas juntos para que todos puedan entender la información sobre los mosquitos.
Perfecto, me encanta porque también las familias latinas también necesitan protegerse de las picaduras de mosquitos.
Igual. Well, thank you so much, Luz. I'm going to go ahead and jump into our first question, which I think is a really important question that a lot of us face, especially now that we're traveling again, getting back out there. We have to remind ourselves, all the stuff that we were doing before. So mosquito problems, can they be worse in other countries? ¿Los problemas de mosquitos pueden ser peores en otros países?
Creo que definitivamente sí. Nosotros somos muy afortunados que vivimos en California y en un país donde tenemos agencias que controlan los mosquitos, entonces eso ayuda a que la gente se mantenga protegida. Recientemente fui a México y lo primero que miré al llegar al aeropuerto es prevenga las picaduras porque allá hay dengue, Zika y chikungunya. Entonces muchas veces cuando uno viaja piensa que quizás no se puede enfermar, pero la realidad es que sí, que en otros países los problemas de mosquitos pueden ser peores y que puede uno viajar y después regresar a casa con una enfermedad, lo cual sería pues terrible, ¿no?
Exacto. And again, just giving that same information, when you're traveling to other countries, making sure that you are using mosquito repellent, that's a part of your travel kit, that you're using it when you're out and about. Like you said, traveling to Mexico, and I know that that's very prevalent when we go to Latin American countries and the Caribbean. There's always signage right outside the airports of making sure that you're using mosquito repellent, because the most important thing there is we have Aedes mosquitoes here in California, like Aedes, who's flying right there over me. And it's about community health. So making sure that we go to those countries, and if you do get bit by a mosquito, you're not bringing back those vector-borne diseases here, and potentially infecting somebody who has not traveled, like a family member in your own household or your neighbors. So it's all about that idea of protecting ourselves with mosquito repellent, so we're not bringing back stuff like dengue, Zika, or chikungunya.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I think? So I said earlier that the first thing that I saw when I got to the airport in Mexico 2 months ago was like, I saw the signage and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even get away from my job. um, it's definitely a very serious message. And I think you made a very good point that now that we have the invasive mosquitoes here, that makes it even more important, right? If we travel somewhere, we get sick, we come back, and then now we're bitten by one of those invasive mosquitoes, then that's how diseases can start spreading here locally, right? I think it's important for people to make that connection, because oftentimes people will think like, oh, that'll never happen to me elsewhere, right?
Right.
Or it doesn't happen to us here in the United States, and thankfully it doesn't happen because of all of the efforts of mosquito control districts, but we also have to do our part by wearing our repellent and being careful.
Perfect. Exactly. And that's exactly the right messaging we want people to be aware of, making sure they're protecting themselves with mosquito repellent. So again, my name is Pablo. I'm joined here by Luz, who's joining us from Sacramento. I'm here in Southern California. We're celebrating California Mosquito Awareness Week all week, and we're kicking it off today with our Mosquito Bites Live conversation here on Instagram Live. And today we're bringing you our questions in English and in Spanish, las preguntas en inglés y español, so that we can make sure that we're talking to all of our communities here. That's coming up to my second question, which I think is a really common one, especially amongst parents with young children, is using repellent with your child. Usando repelente con sus niños. There's so many questions about that. What are some tips you have, Luz?
Yes, so I would say the first thing is find a repellent that you like and use it, right? That would be the first key, because often people are like, oh, I don't like this repellent or that repellent because it's too sticky or it smells bad. But there's a wide array of different types of repellents. Find one that you like and have it handy and use it, right? And also to make sure that you understand that different types of activities require a different type of repellent. For example, if you're just going to be going outside to walk your dog, go to the park, then a repellent that maybe has a level of protection like say 5 to 15% would be very good. But if you're going to be camping or hiking or going into the woods, then you need something that's a little bit more a little stronger. So a concentration of DEET of like say 25 or 30% would probably be a better choice. So having making sure that you're aware of those things. Also, if you're going to be using repellent on your child, make sure that you're not applying it directly to their face, not on their hands, especially babies, because they can take their hands to their mouth. And just being cognizant of those, reading the label and following those label directions is always key.
Exactly. And I think that's the most important thing that we really want to emphasize to people. I like your message about using mosquito repellent and using it, and then also following the label when it comes to that mosquito repellent, properly applying, reapplying when necessary, because those are very important keys. And we encourage you to visit our websites to look and find one of the 4 active ingredients that you need when it comes to mosquito repellent. We know there's a lot of misinformation out there over wristbands or lights or different things like that. You physically need something on your skin, and that's going to help you protect yourself from mosquitoes. Y en español, como estamos diciendo, lo más importante es buscando un repelente que te gusta y lo uses. Y también leyendo la etiqueta del repelente y usando cómo te está explicando cómo es que tienes que usar el repelente efectivo. Y también no poniéndolo directamente a la cara y teniendo mucho cuidado con los niños, que un adulto se lo está aplicando al niño, no el niño solo. Así que uno está aprendiendo la propia manera como usar el repelente.
Exactamente, sí, y como decías tú, ¿verdad? Creo que mucha gente a veces se confunde con la cantidad de repelentes. Básicamente, la mayoría de los repelentes son muy buenos. Siempre hay que fijarse que tengan esos 4 ingredientes activos que recomienda el Centro para el Control y Salud de Enfermedades, pero también, ¿verdad? Aplicarlo dependiendo de la actividad que vas a hacer. Entonces, siempre y cuando pases tiempo al aire libre, hay que acordarse de utilizar un buen repelente para prevenir las picaduras.
Exacto. Y esos ingredientes que son importantes es usando uno de esos y es oil of lemon eucalyptus, DEET, picaridin, or RI 3535. The most important thing is making sure your repellent has one of those 4 active ingredients and you know you're using effective mosquito repellent.
Yes.
Exacto. So again, my name is Pablo, and I'm here joined by Luz, who's joining us all the way from Sacramento. We're bringing the state together for California Mosquito Awareness Week that we're celebrating all week long. And today we're kicking it off with our Instagram live series, Mosquito Bites Live. We went over, and we're bringing you the questions in English and Spanish as well. We went over some information in regards to mosquito problems in other countries, and then properly using mosquito repellent, especially when it comes to our children. And that brings me to my third question, picking the right plants for your yard. Escogiendo buenas plantas para tu jardín. This touches on a lot of things like making sure we're doing California native plants, decluttering our yards, and the water drought. Luz, do you want to talk a little bit about the water drought and how that affects us in mosquito control?
Yes. So oftentimes people think that when there is a drought that there shouldn't be any issues with mosquitoes, right? But history tells us, or at least the last time there was a severe drought in 2014, that was one of the years when we had the highest peak of West Nile virus activity. And the thought behind that is that since there's such little water, that both mosquitoes and birds congregate at those limited water sources, therefore there's more virus transmission, right? So just because there's a drought doesn't mean that we're not going to have issues with mosquitoes or with West Nile. So it's obviously very important that we're always still doing our part to make sure that we're not breeding mosquitoes around our home. And you also touched upon, making sure that we don't have decluttering our yard and making sure that we don't have those plants. People often ask me, are there mosquito plants that I can, have in my yard? And I'm like, not really. I mean, some people think that lavender or, like having that there's like mosquito plants that they go to their store, like their, Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever, that there's plants. But, really personal protection is best. We touched upon that already. But, just indoors, there are some plants that can breed mosquitoes, like lucky bamboo plants, or maybe, plants that can hold water in between their axils. Bromeliads are an example. I forgot the name. But yeah, those are 2 examples of plants that you would have that can also breed mosquitoes.
Perfect. And you gave a really good example there when it comes to the California drought. We continue to be in a drought here in California. We've worked with our water districts, and they continue to explain that messaging of the California drought. And it's also California Native Plant Week. And like we mentioned, that's another great thing to tie into, like we said, choosing the right plants. We're in a drought, and obviously if you're watering plants or if you have plants that need a lot of water, you're using up a lot of water, which is a resource we're very low on right now. So going with California native plants is an excellent way to kind of change that narrative. It's helpful not only you're spending less money on water and conserving more water using California native plants, but you're also creating more of a better environment for your yard. You're bringing the natural ecosystem into your yard, and you're helping to prevent any mosquitoes from coming into your yard. Because if you have less water around, you're going to have less mosquito potential sources, or creating that microclimate that you might be creating with plants like lucky bamboo or bromeliads. So going with California native plants is a great way to help prevent mosquitoes. And I like what you mentioned on a lot of people think like, oh, I can buy a certain plant and it's going to deter mosquitoes. That's not exactly the whole truth. Some do, but essentially, for example, something like lavender, you would have to have a lot of it grind it up in mulch, and it's the oils, and then sprinkle that all around your yard, and that could potentially help deter mosquitoes. But realistically, no one's going to have this huge pound of mulch of lavender around their yard. It's not, that one plant isn't going to do what you might think it might be doing. So it's a matter of crushing the plants and having that out there. That can help deter, but realistically, it's not the most effective thing.
And can I touch back on the point of decluttering your yard? That's so important. Yes. I think as we kind of get our yard for spring, spring ready, summer ready, it's so important that we look around our yard, that we at least once a week make sure that we walk around, dump out any stagnant water that might be in those small containers that we might not even know of. Just yesterday, I saw a tarp in our backyard, and my husband, I was like, that's a mosquito breeding source. And he's like, relax, I'm going to clean it up. Dump it. But, so often we don't take the time to do that walkthrough around our yard, and when we do, we definitely find something, a container mainly with stagnant water that could become a potential mosquito breeding source, especially as we get into the warmer temperatures.
Exactly. I really like that. And just making it part of our weekly habit. We like to say when you're throwing out the trash, doing a quick scan of your yard can do a huge difference in making it part of your daily habit when it comes to mosquito source reduction.
Exactly.
Y en español, como estábamos diciendo, escogiendo buenas plantas para su jardín, es bien importante escoger y mirar a las plantas que son nativas al estado de California, porque usan menos agua, estás conservando el agua. Estamos ahorita tratando de conservar el agua, que no hay mucho ahorita. Y si uno usa plantas que son nativas a California, está ayudando a eso. Y también es beneficio porque está trayendo la naturaleza que es aquí de California a su jardín. Y los mosquitos, va a prevenir que los mosquitos vienen a su yarda, porque no va a tener esas plantas que guardan el agua, como bromeliads o lucky bamboo, que necesita más agua que las plantas del estado de California.
Exactamente, y también tocando el mismo tema en español, ¿verdad? La importancia de asegurarse de no tener tilichero en nuestro jardín, ¿verdad? Por lo menos una vez a la semana, ¿verdad? Caminar, asegurarte de no tener agua sucia, estancada en cualquier contenedor, ¿verdad? Ya sea el tazón de tu mascota, los platos abajo de las macetas, alguna carretilla, cubetas, baldes, cualquier contenedor que contenga agua por más de varios días, seguro que se va a convertir en un criadero de mosquitos, y es lo que estamos tratando de evitar.
Exacto, y haciendo eso parte de su hábito, al menos una vez a la semana, cuando uno va a tirar la basura, mirando si hay agua estancada por su yarda, y eliminando esas cosas o eliminando las cosas que atrapa el agua en su yarda. Es bien importante hacer eso, y si uno lo hace un hábito, ya no se vuelve un gran problema que uno siente no va a poder hacer nada.
Exactamente.
Sí. And again, this is Mosquito Bites Live for California Mosquito Awareness Week. I'm joined by Luz all the way in Sacramento. We're bringing the state together for California Mosquito Awareness Week. We're having a casual conversation here about all things mosquitoes, and we're bringing to you the questions in English and Spanish. And we went over how mosquitoes problems differ from the United States to other countries, how you can properly use mosquito repellent, especially with your children, and then also choosing the right plants. Going California native not only helps you bringing natural diversity into your yard, but also helping with the California drought as well. You're not using as much water as a resource that we have. And that brings me, Luz, to my final question for you, which is always the fun question I have at the end of our Instagram lives. You've been with us before, so we know a little bit about you. But my last question for you is, what is your favorite part about California? ¿Qué es tu parte más favorita del estado de California?
My favorite part of California is probably our weather. I love our California weather. it's so mild. Whenever I look at my friends that live back east, you know, they're buried in the snow or whatever, and I'm just like, oh, I feel so lucky, thankful, blessed that we live here, right? And personally too. So I'm coming to you from Sacramento. I love that everything is close by. We have the mountains, we have the beach. You know, I can go skiing. So there's any fun activity that I would want to engage in is definitely close by. Así que eso es lo que más me gusta. Me encanta el buen clima, generalmente todo el año, y me encanta que estamos cerca de tantas actividades divertidas, ¿verdad? Tenemos aquí cerca de Sacramento a 1 hora, si quiero manejar a 1 hora en cualquier dirección, hacia el norte, hacia el sur, tengo la playa, tengo las montañas, tenemos nieve, hay muchos lagos, puedo ir a acampar, hacer diferentes actividades, y es lo que más me gusta de vivir en Sacramento y California.
I love that answer. That's a great answer. And hopefully you're using mosquito repellent when you're engaging in all those activities as well. Because with the weather comes that great responsibility of mosquitoes all year round. We get that all the time, like, oh, you live in California, you must only have mosquitoes during a certain season. Well, it's a great sunny day today here in Southern California, which means mosquitoes are out there and active. So making sure we're using mosquito repellent during our daily activities and the great stuff we have here in the great state of California.
Yes.
So again, this is Mosquito Bites Live. Coming to you from Southern California and Northern California. I'm joined here by Luz, who's in Sacramento for California Mosquito Awareness Week. And we had a really great conversation in regards to the differences we face with mosquitoes in other countries, how to properly use mosquito repellent, especially around your children, going California native and how that can affect mosquitoes, as well as the California drought, and the great stuff that we have here in the state of California. Muchas gracias, Luz, por esta conversación sobre muchas cosas sobre el repelente, cuando uno está viajando a otros países, cómo puede prevenir los mosquitos, sobre las plantas nativas de California, cómo puede ayudar a su jardín que no atrae los mosquitos, y todas las buenas cosas que tenemos aquí en el estado de California. Before I leave you, Luz, do you have any parting words for us before we leave here?
Yes, just making sure that as we go into the summer season, that you do everything that you can to make sure that you fight the bite and stay safe from mosquitoes. And remember that mosquito control matters, and that we're very fortunate, you know, bringing it back to our very first question, we're very fortunate to live in a state and a country that has resources and public health measures to help keep people safe from mosquitoes and mosquito transmitted diseases. So yeah, that would be the main message.
Exactly. I love that message. And again, mosquito control is very important, especially here in the state of California. We have great weather, but we also have mosquitoes year round. So making sure we're using mosquito repellent. And as we get more into the warmer months now, we're going to see more activity of mosquitoes. So making sure that's top of mind again. And what we like to remind you here at San Gabriel Valley Mosquito Vector Control is tipping out any stagnant water, tossing out any sources, and making sure you're protecting yourself with mosquito repellent when you're out and about, engaging all the fun activities we have here in Southern California. Before I leave, I want to make sure that we mention join us on Thursday for our Bite Back Tour. It's a spring gardening edition. It's going to be a great conversation. Excuse me. It's going to be a great conversation with Food Ed. We did a great Instagram Live with them last week, and we'll have another great longer conversation with them this week for our Mosquito Bites Live, which will be live streamed on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. So be sure to check that out Thursday at 11 a.m. Luz, thank you so much for this great conversation. Gracias por la conversación en inglés y español. And we hope people fight the bite and don't encounter big mosquitoes like that one, or like Ada E's over my shoulder here.
Yes. No biting.
Thank you so much, Luz. Have a great California Mosquito Awareness Week.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.